All right, hey, I'm CCP Rise. I'm a senior game designer on EVE Online.
So what's it like coming here, Stephen, at EVE Fest and seeing your fans face to face?
It's always one of my biggest highlights of the year. I get kind of the best concentration of input on the game, and of course we also just have a super fun time, so I look forward to it. It's like my favorite part of my job, basically.
You also did something, you guys at CCP Games did something really unique this year and like traveled the world and went to like Australia, UK, EU, Canada, and here.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. We always have events all around. Players run so many events all over the world, and we try to send people to support them as much as we can, but we like super doubled down this year and went to everything and had more events, and which is great because it's really important part of our community.
And I realize it's important you like doing it, but how does that affect your work on the game per se when you're traveling so much worldwide?
Yeah, it can be a bit tiring. We try to like alternate which devs go so that nobody gets too burned out except like the community folks, and it's okay if they do. But yeah, we have to be a little careful. It's a lot of work too, putting presentations together and making sure you're read up on content they want to discuss. That takes extra work, so it can slow us down a bit if we do too much of it.
What are some of the challenges when working on a game has a global audience? Because usually when you design a game, you have a specific target audience in mind, whether it be North America and Canada, EU, Russia, whatever, China. But now your game's played by so many different people in so many different communities. Like, what are some of the challenges in making that happen? Because there's so many different facets that play it.
I'll go a direction I don't think you would expect. It's actually time zone tanking. We have so many systems in the game where people want to own things and like space and structures and stuff like that. And when another player group wants to come and take them, we have to account for the fact that people play all over the world at different times. So trying to make sure that like you don't lose all your stuff in the middle of the night every day, and we can have like a global game where you can be interacting and competing with people from all over the world is super challenging. So we end up with pretty complex systems to try and make sure if you're trying to take someone's space who lives in a different time zone, it's fair. And that's one of the like toughest things for us to actually figure out and design, and we've been trying to iterate on it and work on it for years and years and years, and it still needs more work. So
it is an MMORPG, and in a world you would have to eventually sleep on the freighter or ship that you're on. You couldn't stay up 24 hours a day, so it does add a sense of realism to your game at least.
Yeah, that's true. It feels super real. I think people like factor in exhaustion and sleep into their strategy for attacking other people, and that makes it very much like a real war. It's attrition from people being tired or disinterested or whatever it is you can get them to feel is all valid in EVE. So
you guys are introducing a new Dreadnought class warship soon in EVE Online. How is that going to affect, when you do something like that, how does it affect the in-game economy and like how players play?
It depends on where it goes. In this one, it's a huge deal because building the Dreadnought, you'll have to be super involved in fighting back the Triglavian invasion, and so that is hooked into all the, all the new challenges basically involved with fighting them off. Is kind of powered by the reward of earning the Dreadnought at the end. So it's super deeply tied into the economy and what kind of behavior people are going to be taking, pursuing basically to get those big rewards.
EVE Online has such a vast player-driven economy. In fact, there's an episode of Rick and Morty where he topples an empire by turning a 1 into a 0. And I couldn't help but think that something like that would destroy EVE Online, essentially is what he did. How do you balance that economy to make sure it's working all the time and makes sense in players, because players are, shady, will try to find the shortest, quickest path to get rich and to fix things that, are being taken advantage of?
Man, that's a big question. We do a lot of different things. We have a lot of very smart economists and analysts monitoring it to make sure that things are looking how they should and that things are healthy, and we're always kind of trying to improve that study so that we know what we need to be looking at. I think also that we try to just leave it a lot in players' hands and make mechanisms there for it to correct itself in the game and make it function more like a real economy rather than trying to meddle directly in it, so it can correct itself. And a lot of the time we don't really set prices or set expectations for what something's going to cost or how long it's going to take. That's got a lot to do with demand in the player base and what tricks they figure out to get things done, and that works out really well for us in a lot of cases to just not actually try and manage it too closely. But then, we have to step in sometimes when things get broken, which definitely happens.
I feel like EVE Online is a game that has two challenges. One is keeping concurrent players, happy and enthralled as they keep coming back, but also getting new players to enter in the world for the first time. Can you talk about some of the challenges when you're dealing with that sort of thing?
I mean, that's like our biggest ongoing challenge is keeping those new people in. We have an enormous amount of people coming to check EVE out. EVE is like so exciting to hear about and read about, and the promise of it, I think, is compelling to almost everyone. But as an initial experience, it's so much different than anything else in the industry, basically. So I think maybe a lot of people come in expecting something a lot different than what they get, and trying to get their head around it fast enough that they stay interested is a really big challenge. And we've invested a lot in that lately, improving that situation so that they understand and feel comfortable in the universe long enough to realize how amazing it is. Because once people are around very long at all, they usually stick for pretty much ever. Once we can get it through to them how kind of deep and amazing the game is, once they build some social connections in the game, they stick around really for a long time compared to other products, I think.
The last question is, I know there's a ton of new stuff hitting EVE Online very soon, but what are you personally looking most forward to for the players to experience?
I've got a couple new like ship and weapon concepts that we haven't announced quite yet, but I'm really pumped to get them in players' hands. The last we did the whole Triglavian weapon and the theme around those ships was really unique, and that started maybe a year and a half ago. And I think soon we can get into some new mechanics that are equally exciting, and I'm really pumped about that. That's what my team's going to be focused on for the next little bit.
No sneak peek, nothing you can talk about right now?
I mean, we teased this new bomb that we were working on. It's like a new like heavy bomb that can take out capitals using really small ships. So you imagine like the proton torpedo down the exhaust hatch type of thing. That's one of them. There's some others that I can't tell you about because we got to wait a little longer, but we got some really cool stuff coming in that area, and I'm excited about.